Good morning, folks, and welcome to the Pre-Market Insight, February 25th, 2020. We have a lot of news on the virus again this morning. Let's take a look at the charts. So we're taking a look at the ES S&P 500, and currently we're gapped up just about 12 points at 3238.50. We had a very interesting overnight session in that last night we were up almost, I think, around 50 points, almost 0.8%, I believe. And I was pretty disappointed, to be quite fair, because I am also looking for an opportunity to perhaps get long for a mean reversion trade, not spending all of my life or completely long bias to the upside, but looking for perhaps some sort of relief bounce into higher levels before perhaps we revisit lower. And I was pretty disappointed because, in my experience, statistically speaking, bottoms are not formed by gap ups. They are formed by gap downs, and buying comes from below rather than buying comes from on top. So now that we've opened, we're about just about a couple hours from open, and we're I would say close to flat. I think this gives much more of an opportunity for those who are looking to get long or trade a bounce to manage their risk a lot more capably. So, what are we looking at here today? We're on the 6-month 4-hour chart, and as you can see, as we've been talking about for several weeks and months now, we're in a series of broadening formations. And I was speaking about the fact that price action was getting sloppy. We were hitting all-time highs, yet in that trend, we were making higher highs and lower lows on the shorter term time frames, which is not typical of price action that you find in one-way trending markets. You expect to find higher lows and higher highs, whilst we were experiencing higher highs, making all-time highs, but then also making lower time frame lows. Bizarre price action if you're not familiar with the broadening formation. Now, given the fact that all of this price action within this range from around 3400 even down to around 3150 is within that overall pattern, it makes for the scenario where there's not a lot of price support, there's not a lot of volume support, there's not a lot of market participants who have purchased or sold up here with any real confidence to be able to have a strong level to lean against. And in fact, as you can see on my chart, there's only one very small area, this area between 3191 and 3205 on the top side, that we had any real extended period of consolidation that might give us some bring in some buying support. And of course, we have this sort of flash crash that we had down here to this 3181 level. So sitting here at 3236, quite possibly just about 4.5-5% down from the highs, we could see a mean reversion trade, a slight bounce into higher levels, and in that case we would be looking for gap rules to come into play. But there is definitely no reason that we could not test this 3181 level again in the coming today or the ensuing days or in the ensuing weeks. And so you need to be mindful of your position sizing, not only today but in the days and weeks to come, because this may prove to be the start of something bigger, but not before we perhaps test higher levels. And so let's take a look at those higher levels. Coming into the regular trading hours session, I would definitely be looking for perhaps a small retest, a slight retest, a slight push into yesterday's lower levels at around 3220. And if that does hold, or this level that we're currently at around 3233 to 3334 does hold going into the regular trading hour session, The first target I would quickly look for is 32.52, where we ran into some problems yesterday, and directly above that 32.60. If we can build out some value between 32.52 and 32.60, then perhaps that might set us up into for a move back up into 32.85. Not necessarily today, but in the ensuing days on possibly a gap up to start Wednesday or Thursday morning, depending on the news and headlines that we have coming out surrounding new cases of the coronavirus. And so keep it simple, smarty. Position size for success. I will not discourage taking possibly a stab at longs today because I myself may, but position size for success. Know that we can very quickly on a dime test lower levels down into 31.81 before we have a meaningful bounce. And so be safe out there today, guys.